You are listening to the Postcast, presented by the Locked On Senators podcast and the Glebe Central Pub. Go visit the Glebe Central Pub right in the heart of the Glebe at 779 Bank Street and check out the Sens Shuttle for $17. You can have your misery with a side of company. To and from the CTC to many home games, head to glebecentralpub.com/SensBus for your tickets. I'm Ross Levitan alongside Brandon Piller, and again, some good company at the very least. We have at Lalim's Martian with us. The whole Postcast crew is here breaking down a 5-0 Senators loss on home ice against the Florida Panthers, a loss that was masked with a bunch of bullshit at the end. But Pilsy, this one was lifeless, unenthusiastic from the drop of the puck.
This was just an absolute embarrassment of a hockey game. And look, I don't know if I agree with you with lifeless, Ross. At least they showed some energy, some physicality, but in an embarrassing fashion. Like the Zach McEwen attempt to try to get Matthew Tkachuk off was just an absolute joke. I don't know what that guy's doing in the lineup if he can't even get something like that right. When guys like Brady Tkachuk and if Jake Sanderson is stepping up and fighting here, this team obviously doesn't have the right guys that know how to play their role, because Jake Sanderson should not have to do that, even though Matthew Tkachuk clearly said, hey, we're going to go after Sanderson here if you guys keep this up. And you start looking at 167 penalty minutes in this game. Never in my entire life have I seen a ref just say, you know what, screw it. Every player on the ice, 10-minute misconducts, get out of here. And he's tossing out 10-minute misconducts, Martian, like they're fun coupons, because the refs just had enough of this. Even the Tkachuk family, with two of their sons in the game, decide, you know what, this debacle's not worth our time. Chantel's getting grandma packed in the car early. They're beating the traffic. They're not hanging around to watch the rest of this absolute garbage. So here we are, a 5-0 loss at home to the Florida Panthers. Martian,
Pilsy,
go ahead, buddy. God.
I mean, the gong show aside, Pilsy, they just played horrible from the start of the puck drop to the end of the game. They had nothing in the bag. They go 9 shots against unanswered to start the first period. And then what do they do? And they're lucky to only be down 1-0 at that point.
Yeah, honestly.
And then what do? They go out to start the second period, and they're flat again, Pilsy. 8 shots against unanswered to start the second
14
period.
straight minutes without a shot, Martian.
Yeah, and we know that because Sportsnet loves putting that on our face with their little tickers and graphics. At one point, they had a graphic that said 11 players remain from each team. So I thought that one was pretty funny, as if like everybody was going to get eliminated here at some point. But Ross, I'll kick it back to you here because I don't know where to go next. You tee us up.
Well, I think that I want to stick on the gong show a little bit, because that's what we're going to, simply break down, but really the problems run so much deeper than that. This was way worse than a 5-0 game. And I'm glad they got the garbage time goals at the end. Like, the score didn't deserve to be 3-0, because then if you're like overly optimistic, you're toxically optimistic, which we've been called before. Not anymore. As the standard's been raised, nobody on the ice deserves to even be close to that standard. It was just a complete gong show. So they have that goal that should have been offside. But you know how you don't have to worry about an offside review? Don't give the puck away behind your net and allow a wraparound goal. That was an awful goal any way you slice it. They get that. You get the delay of game penalty, and then they score on the ensuing power play. Travis Hamonic is so washed. It is uncanny how washed he is. There is not a single defensive forward on the Ottawa Senators roster worth their salary. It is so bad right now that I don't even know which direction to take this in, Martian. So when I don't know, I do it chronologically. I look at the first goal of the game, 1 minute and 28 seconds in. 0 pressure. They're cycling the puck, and I get they're shorthanded, but nobody's even trying to get a stick in the lane. It may as well be the Guy Boucher special 5-on-0 power play in practice. Nobody was going for the puck, and then sure enough, what do you do in that situation? You get the puck to the highest danger area because nobody's defending there. Little bumper pass out into the slot, and it's 1-0. Sam Reinhart opens the scoring. Not to brag, I had Sam Reinhart as my lookout player. He scores 2 goals in this game, but really it was just a joke from there, Pilsy. Like at that point, and Pilsy, don't worry, I'm going to ask where your panic button is. The chat's lighting up. They want to know where the panic button is. But at that point, it's 1-0. The Sens have iced the puck 3 times in the first 4 minutes. They have 1 shot at the first TV timeout. It's 6-1 for the Panthers. And that's even before the Sens get a double minor power play. Timmy's bleeding out of his nose. And at the time of the penalty, the shots are 9-1. Well, guess what? They were 9-2 after a 4-minute power play. Ottawa mustering 1 muffin on goal in that power play. So I don't even know what I want to ask you, Pilsy, but that first period showed absolutely no life that this was going to get better.
No, like you could tell what type of game this was going to be. I thought, Ross, maybe they'll even the momentum shifts with that 4-minute power play that they had, especially it's Timmy that gets high sticks. So you think, all right, the boys are going to rally. They glued him up. They put him right on the ice right away. Maybe he's got that adrenaline flowing. He's going to try to get something going. And like you mentioned, 1 measly shot. And you know what? As much as I want to harp on the Senators for having a crap power play there, the Florida Panthers penalty kill was just relentless. Like they were so aggressive on every time the puck was cycled. Immediately they had a guy on the puck. The Sens are bobbling. They're looking for pucks in their skates, not able to get anything going, and poor choices, poor passes, cannot enter the zone like we talked about. They had difficulties with, and the TSN turning point for me, though, in this one, again, Martian, we're talking about an offside review being a turning point in this game because it's only 1-0 in that point. Sure, the Senators are playing dog shit hockey, and you're like, well, they're not going to win this game, but at least it's not going to get out of control here. But then that offside review, which I don't know, I have eyes, you have eyes, we all have eyes. We saw on the camera that's offside. Like, I get what they were trying to say, being like, oh, he wasn't in possession. No, that is offside. If we have an offside review that can go that far back into play, has a gazillion cameras on it, and the control room in Toronto has a guy with a million screens, and you can clearly see it, that can't happen. Otherwise, why are we doing offside reviews? So that was the turning point for me, Martian, because at that point, you just knew this game was not going to go the Sens way.
But and Marcia, before you get in there, like the turning point, I get what you're trying to say, but it wasn't the turning point. Ottawa hadn't had a shot in 15 minutes.
Yeah,
but at least they're surviving.
That's the thing, though. Like, right? Okay, let's just stick with the offside review real quick here, boys. Like that overhead angle showed that it was offside, but at the same time, Ross, I agree with you. I don't think that changes a goddamn thing in this game. They were getting absolutely dominated, but it does change the game script a lot because those 2 goals happen so fast. And then the Ottawa players have to emotionally react to that, which is like, obviously they're going to go down that. You can tell with this team, man, as soon as stuff like this happens to them, you can see them all sink on the bench, and you can see it in their play when they're out on the ice. So for me, it's unfortunate that didn't go their way, but to me, that should have been called offside and not counted. It should have been 1-0 at that point. Who knows? Florida could have scored, right? Ottawa could have scored though and made it, 1-1. So at the same time, it's like a chicken or the egg thing, but the Sens weren't playing well enough to win anyway, so it doesn't really matter at the end of it.
But the thing is, Ross, sure, the Senators are playing terrible hockey. I already said it. Like, it's not like they're going to come back and win this game because of that. But that offside challenge was a 1 step forward, but risking 2 steps back. Because if you get it, okay, it's still 1-0. Sure, you're getting outworked. It's embarrassing, but at least 1-0. Maybe you get a bounce. Maybe that happens. But when that call doesn't go their way, God knows why. The hockey gods hate the Sens. There's no other explanation. Now, not only is it not 1-0, it's 2-0. But now the power play happens, and the only goals scored in this game have been on the power play. And what do you know? Early on in that power play, the Panthers score again. Now, instead of 1-0, you're down 3-0.
And DJ Smith, you could see him lipping on the bench saying he was 2 feet offside. He thought this was an absolute no-brainer.
Everyone did. I don't know. Like, I would love to hear if anyone in the chat was at the game.
No, I was hearing from people who were at the game, Pillsy, via text and other methods, and they didn't get that overhead angle, but they could tell, maybe they did get that overhead angle, and that's why they were so upset. But nobody expected that to be called a goal at the end. They were all like, no, that's no goal. And that's why the boos were And I've heard that they were as loud as they've ever been.
I was just going to say, I don't think I've heard boos that loud ever. Like, that was insane. Like, those two guys, we got to find those guys. They got to be Sens Central citizens. But the one guy with the backwards hat just be like, what? Like, what is going on? And his buddy's like holding him back. It's like one of those hold me back moments. I'm going to attack this ref right here. Like, it was mind boggling. And that was the perfect, like, a picture is worth 1,000 words. That was the perfect way to describe Sens fans this season. Just being like, are you kidding me?
When something can go wrong, it has. But I said it already. The best way to not have a review in that situation is to not give up the most embarrassing goal that you can. A goalie comes behind the net, and there was already a lack of communication, or actually it was afterwards, but overall in this game, between the defenseman and Joonas Korpisalo. I'm on Team Korpisalo in terms of him smacking his stick and telling Brandy, come get the puck. What do you want me to do with it?
That was the crazy moment in that game where you just realized how disjointed they really were. And you could look at that first period and you could see they couldn't make a pass. They couldn't bobble the puck. But the least you can do is go get the puck from your goaltender when he's got it behind the net. I mean, he's slapping his stick and he's rattled about it. And it's hard to watch. It's really hard to watch that. But
he should be. I mean, he kept them in the game for a couple. It was shocking that it was only 1-0 after the first period. Korpisalo made left to right pad save, right to left pad. He slid across in the butterfly. Usually he's all over the place. He was square to the shooter, no rebound. I was like, this guy's giving me confidence, even though nobody else on the team could literally put a pass together. They would stick handle into their own feet. It was just an absolute exercise of what not to do. But Steve G, and we appreciate the what do we call it? The coins in the guitar case. We really do appreciate that, Steve. But he's got a good point, saying that the Sens lost their mind when the Kelly goal was disallowed too in the last game. It is a pattern. This team has no composure, and almost ironically, the coach looks like he's too composed on the bench. Could you imagine if that call went against the Florida Panthers, what Paul Maurice would have done? He might have picked up the bench and thrown it on the ice like Roger Nielsen. He would have got nuts.
I would love to see DJ snap. What do you have to lose at this point, buddy? You
for real.
Like, you were a tough NHL player. Like, go over there and give Paul Maurice a talking to for sending Matty Tkachuk in, and we can get into that too. Like, he skates back into the zone and gives Korpisalo an extra whack. I don't know if you guys caught that. That's what caused the whole kerfuffle there with McEwen going after him. I mean, it just spiraled out of control. And you might as well get involved, DJ, because like your whole team's fired up. So I would probably recommend just like showing some emotion. He hasn't done that yet. He's never really been that kind of coach. And I think it's probably because he's too nice of a guy. But he was a scrapper.
But that's another reason why that was such a turning point, is because like Steve said, like the Sens lost their mind when the call didn't go their way. The call doesn't go their way again. And they're just like, well, this game's over for us. Because what was it, last year or maybe even the last 2 years, the Sens video reviews on goal challenges were really good. Like, we were praising the guy, being like, he nails it. He got it. And now it's just not happening. It's not going their way. And they just slouch down and it's just over like that. And just quickly about Korpisalo, like we've been talking about this, like we're all so nervous when he plays the puck. So Korpisalo is probably saying, okay, maybe I got to get used to my defenseman a little bit more. We got to figure each other out. So I'm not going to be so crazy playing the puck. I'm just going to stop it behind the net. Well, he tries to stop it behind the net. It goes terribly, and Reinhart gets it and scores on that wraparound that you talked about, Ross. And then later, he's like, all right, I'm not going to do anything crazy. I'm going to stop it. I'm going to leave it here. It's nice and settled for the D-men. Where are they? No one's around. Like, if I'm Korpisalo, not only am I smacking my stick yelling at them, how about you get the puck? Let's get going here. But also, Bennett, Tkachuk, these guys are taking shots at me all night, and I'm the one that has to go and try to settle this at the end of a period. Like, Korpisalo shouldn't be asked to do that. So I don't blame the frustration from him. Not like he's been an all-star goalie this season, but no one's putting this 5-0 loss on Korpisalo.
No, I'm putting it on the entire team. Nobody should lack accountability after. And Sens fan and Van, we saw your message. We're going to get to that after a quick word. And Andrew Burnett here just nails it. First season with season tickets, and he wants a refund. 12 out of 16 games. 12 out of 17 games now. Home ice. Well, 2 in Sweden. Okay.
That's not their home.
I just took a national broadcast angle there because they put up that stat today, their home record. come on, got to be better. I got to be better. But that's what they've provided at home ice ever since that opening weekend.
I think it's true. They won those games too, Ross. So like, if you want to count them, sure. But yeah, like I mean, it's worse. It's worse if you just look at the regular home ice games. So
Yep.
It's absolutely brutal. We have a whole lot to get to. I want people in the chat to let us know if we should do Send Central standouts today. Does this game deserve
Ross? Make a poll.
Does this game deserve Send Central standouts? We'll discuss that next. 5-0 loss to the Florida Panthers, but at least we've got the Glebe Central Pub. When times are tough, we go to the Glebe Central Pub. We vent together. We vibe together. That's what we do here on Locked On Senators, and that's what we do in the Senators community because, my goodness, if there's one thing that Sens fans have, it's a passionate fan base, and on the ice product be damned at times. At least we got each other. That's where we're at today, and that's where the Glebe Central Pub is always a good time because you're always among friends at the Glebe Central Pub, whether it's live music night, whether it's wing night, whether it's open mic night, speed dating. I know some of you sickos in the chat want to go speed dating. It's all at the Glebe Central Pub. And make sure you buy your tickets on the Send Shuttle. I'm going to the Leafs game on the Send Shuttle. I'm ready for that one. December 7th. Going to be an absolute blast. Always a good time on the Glebe Central Pub Shuttle. Visit them, 779 Bank Street, and make sure you let them know that Locked On Senators sent you. And when you go to the website, you can buy your game tickets there as well, but just make sure that you're buying just the bus tickets separately. $17 round trip. Glebe Central Pub, 779 Bank Street, right in the heart of the Glebe.
The Postcast is also brought to you by Collective. If you run a small solo business, you're an army of one, but you still need help. You need a CPA, bookkeeper, separate payroll solution, and more. Let Collective take care of the paperwork while you take care of business. You're wearing many hats if you run your own business, but with Collective, bookkeeping and accounting don't need to be one of them. Start saving thousands of bucks and hours of your time by letting Collective handle your business paperwork. Collective is the #1 financial solution for freelancers, contractors, and self-employed entrepreneurs that lets you focus on your passion, not your paperwork. Let Collective handle all the paperwork you dread, like corporate formation and compliance, taxes, bookkeeping, accounting. Boring. The best part is you can let Collective do all of that. Join the thousands of entrepreneurs who have saved over $10,000 a year on taxes with this structure. Right now, Collective is offering a 1-month free and no onboarding fee when you go to collective.com/NHL. Locked On NHL, that is, and tell them Locked On NHL sent you. That's $550 value for free when you go to collective.com/LockedOnNHL and tell them Locked On NHL sent you. That's collective.com/LockedOnNHL and tell them Locked On NHL sent you.
All right, welcome back to the Postcast. I'm Ross Levitan alongside Brandon Piller. We have Lifeless Martian here. Pillsy, where is the panic button right now?
Look, this is such a bad game, and if you zoom in on this world is imploding. The Sens are an absolute joke. Nothing is going right. November, the curse of November continues. We said it all along, Ross. The curse of November and the curse of Sweden is not going to Sweden. It's coming back, and I don't think it can get much worse than this when you talk about the Islanders' loss, now this loss. Having said that, there's still a lot of season left. And I know people are probably, they got their pitchforks out and their torches, and they say, we need Pillsy to hit the panic button here. I'm holding. I'm not hitting the panic button yet. There's so much time left in the season. There's injuries. Things got to kind of start shaking themselves out. All the other months in the rest of the season are not named November. That's a big part of it too. No more November months. I'm hoping that helps out. But guys, I hate to say it, positive Pillsy, not here. I don't know where he is. Pessimistic Pillsy, he's here. But panic button Pillsy, nope. Not yet. Not yet.
You guys know what the Senators need right now?
What?
You guys know what the Senators need?
Oh!
I was wondering why you left the room there.
We need Patrick Watt to come and throw some benches around, get the water bottles off, and just maybe not go full JR and try to hit the ref with the water bottle.
Yeah.
They need some emotion back there, please. Any sort of emotion would be very welcome for a fan base, I think, who right now is watching a dead man walking on the bench. That's what we got right now. We got a dead man walking on the bench.
Yeah, he's
such a good guy that it's like every time he talks in the media, you're like, hey, good guy. He's the kind of guy I'd want my kid to play for in junior hockey.
Agreed.
But it's about winning. And the Senators have a .465 points percentage with DJ Smith. And we just saw Dean Evison get fired, and he had a .635.
Look at Jay Woodcroft's points percentage. Like, there are guys who are much better at winning hockey games that are getting fired right now.
Yeah, it's basically, it's time, in my opinion. I tweeted it out earlier. I think that I'm firmly now, I'm overdue, but it's time. Like, it's got to get done. And if it doesn't happen soon, they're not going to be able to win with him as the coach. They need a shakeup. This is the kind of shakeup they need. They've got their fun uncle working with them. They can say it all they want in the media, how much they like playing for him and they believe in him. But guess what? They're going to bring in someone better. And pretty quickly, those guys are going to forget DJ Smith. He helped them grow. Sure, he was good at that. Yeah. But he's just not the guy to get them over the hump here. And they're supposed to be. And we wouldn't be talking like this if the expectations weren't shifted now to being, we should be a playoff team. So with that being said, they need to actually have a guy in place who can make them winners. And right now, the culture is it's messed up, right? They don't know how to win. And he's not teaching them how. So we need to get a guy in there who knows how to win, who's taught other guys to win. Bring in a coach that maybe has won a championship in the last year. I know DJ won a Mem Cup, fairly recent, or 10 years ago.
Yeah, not that recent.
Yeah,
wasn't his captain Scott Sabourin?
And they won gold at the World Championship with him as the head coach too.
No. He was an assistant, and that's where he should be.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. That makes more sense. Fair. So great call out there. But yeah, absolutely.
2-0. 2-0 with Alfie behind the bench, 0-2 since he's been off the bench on the way back.
And here's the other thing, though, too, right? We don't have a GM either. We've got an interim GM / president of hockey operations. If you're looking at this in a smart business way, which I'm sure Michael Anlauer is and the rest of the ownership group is, you don't hire the underling before you hire the superior. You let the superior choose who's going to be working for them. So Steve Staios, this is your job now to find a GM today and let him get a coach in tomorrow, because we got 5 days off here and this is it's getting out of hand. But you can't, in my opinion, unless you throw Alfie in there as a morale guy for an interim tag, for the next 2 weeks until they find a real GM and interview a real coach, then there's no. I don't hate that idea, to be honest with you. But at the same time,
I'll one up that. Jacques Martin, who has experience as a head coach, should be the interim if he'll do it. And be like, hey, we'll give you a management. We'll give you a cozy job afterwards, a senior advisor. We need you boots on the ground to see what the heck is going on here and learn how to play defense, which has always been his calling card. Look, I used to laugh off the idea, but it's actually starting to make more and more sense as an interim, as 1 year. I don't think it's the long-term answer, but I think that he could come in and at least not save the season, but maybe get it back on track.
Or at least ingrain in these guys' mind what it's like to play defense. And if you don't, you're held accountable. I don't care if you want your cookies all night, you want to be a 100-point player, Timmy, you want to be a point per game guy, Drew, or Tkachuk. It's like, let's just shut it down. Let's get Korpisalo a shutout. Let's win a 1-goal game that's like a 2-1 game. I know we've done that once this season, but the rest of them have essentially, when they lose, Pilsy, how many postcasts have I been on? I feel like now I'm the problem because you've been on a few winning postcasts, but for me, it's like every time I'm coming on here, we're talking about brutal losses most of the time.
Yeah, and this was a brutal loss for the ages. I mean, I don't even really know where to go from here. And the Senators, their next game isn't until Friday. So talk about stewing on a loss. They're going to be stewing on this one for a while. Yeah. Bruce Garriock tweets, "We weren't ready to play. That's on me," says Coach DJ Smith. I mean, it is on you. We know at this point, because this team was half asleep for the first period and most of the second. And then the only time they woke up is when this game was out of reach and they tried to show some face with some terrible scrums and a brutal attempt by Zach McEwen to get under the skin of Matthew Tkachuk. And they were getting laughed at. Like, Brady's getting laughed at by his big brother, and he's trying to chirp back, and the Florida bench is just laughing. They're laughing at Timmy after they're scoring goals. Like, it's just an embarrassing scene all over. And what I was getting at is the next game is Columbus. We should be sitting here being like, oh yeah, the Columbus Blue Jackets. Like, we're gonna feast on these guys. I'm not so sure. Like, Columbus is looking like a team with more confidence than the Ottawa Senators right now, which is pathetic to say.
Yeah, I mean, you can almost call it like a battle of the basement type of game at this point if you really wanted to get it. Like, I mean, I don't have confidence that they're going to win either.
No,
dude, Columbus just beat Boston tonight.
Yeah, Columbus is playing good lately, but you know what? It's because, and Martian, we talked about this. Well, I'll give you credit. You brought it up. What did Columbus do? No fun uncle coach. Sure, they bring in Mike Babcock. Show us your phones, boys. That doesn't work great.
Did they really bring him in, though? I mean, it didn't last very long.
They tried, and it didn't work. But what the message they were sending is you don't get the fun uncle anymore. And then they bring in the new coach. I'm blanking on his name right now, but he comes in and he makes hard decisions.
Pascal Vincent.
Thank you, Pascal Vincent. And he's benching guys that are making huge dollars. Johnny Gaudreau, Patrick Laine. He's benching them if not playing. Okay, benching didn't work. He didn't figure it out. Well, it's not just a little slap on the wrist. We're serious. We're not messing around. Patrick Laine, go watch a game in the press box. And the Ottawa Senators haven't even done anything close to that. Like, the only instance you can say that was close to that, was Matthew Joseph last year when he was a zero non-factor player. Like, that didn't scare anyone. Like, that didn't do anything. So the fact that this losing continues and the players saying DJ's our guy, we're going to stick with DJ, and this just continues to pile on and it gets worse and worse and worse. Like, at some point, when are the Ottawa Senators going to stop digging? They're digging themselves in a hole, digging. You can't always go up, but at some point, you got to stop going down. And the Ottawa Senators, I don't know how many times we've said have hit rock bottom. I'm not saying that right now, but how many times can you hit rock bottom? Are the Sens trying to find a new way? Are they hitting the next part of the Earth's core that they're going through the next layer of rock here? Like, this is absolutely embarrassing.
Well, Steve Stais, I'll show him my phone. That's where we're at right now for me. And I hate to be that guy. And I said I hate harping on it, but it really just comes down to the preparation, the any sort of adjustments in game, and the fact that there is no emotion on the bench. There's no emotion on the bench.
No,
and I think.
Yeah,
go ahead. No.
I was going to say, like, I mean, you look at the guys who aren't performing right now, and I look at kind of that middle six area, especially as a group of guys who should be providing some kind of scoring who aren't really at all right now. Josh Norris, Drake Batherson, you could scratch either one of those guys, and I wouldn't give a shite, right, boys? And then, but that what's the root cause of that? Is they're not playing well because they don't feel like they're ever going to get held accountable for not playing well. So, I mean, that's a coaching issue in my opinion. But at the same time, those guys, if they want to stick around or you want to be part of this and help this team win, they've got to show a lot more effort than what they're showing.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I had to take a sip of my drink there. I don't even know what to say here.
What's in your glass?
I'm sticking with the Kraken rum and Coke's doubles for today's game, though. I mean, well, it's usually doubles. Who am I kidding? But this was a tough one. Like, I was getting ready for this postcast, and most of the time I'm looking up stats. I'm rewatching the goals. My postcast preparation was pouring a stiff drink.
Dude, I usually write down almost like a play-by-play throughout the game, like just so that I can, if I want to go back, like, oh, what happened first, this or that.
Yeah.
My last one is McEwen gets match penalty 5 in a game for going after Matthew Tkachuk. After that, I was like, this is not even worth my time.
That honestly might have been the play that pissed me off the most. That was embarrassing. Like, that's like, it was embarrassing. And like, especially like, I don't know if you guys know Matthew and Brady Tkachuk are brothers. So Brady's probably sitting there being like, oh man, like, I'm going to have to hear about that one later. Like, I don't know what's up with that Zach guy. Like, I'm sorry.
He heard about it right away because Matthew skated by and goes, what the hell's with that? You guys sending this guy after me? Like, He went
Well,
crying.
and that's when he said, Martian, that's when he goes, we're going after Sanderson.
Yeah,
Like
And-
it's Timmy and Sanderson, you're
we're
dead.
going after Timmy and Sanderson, and you can hear him say it. And I
Yep.
love the response because the intermission happened pretty briefly after that. So there was a conversation that was had in the dressing room, like, "Hey, heads up, skilled guys, young guys, they're coming for you guys." Matthew said it, and I love Sanderson's gumption there. He goes, "All right, you want a piece of
Yeah,
me?
he knows it's
square off
coming.
Yeah, if you want to come at me, I'd rather fight you than have you give me a dirty shot." So
Well,
good on him.
and one thing I did like though is right away they square up, they're gliding around, and Matthew goes like this, and then he takes his helmet off. I'm actually glad Sanderson didn't take his helmet off. Like, part of me was like, I mean, if he's gesturing to do it, you both kind of got to do it. But then I'm like,
You're not allowed
no,
to- you're not allowed
Sandy,
to do it.
you are out of your element here. Don't take your helmet off. Protect that noggin. Your hockey IQ is one of the best parts of your game. Protect yourself there. And that's a smart play. At least you get the power play over there. And the Sens go over 6 for the power play.
Absolutely embarrassing. I think what he was saying, because he kind of pointed here like that he had gotten cut for McEwen. I don't think he wanted his visor to like rub up and down on his. That's what my guess is. But anyways,
I don't know. I think I'd take a visor rubbing my skin rather than haymaker or smashing it against the ice.
I think he was pretty confident that Sanderson wasn't going to come with a haymaker to first
Although
career.
Sandy
NHL
did
fight.
get a few jabs in before that one ended. I mean, Matthew obviously got the better of him, no kidding. But I was happy with how Sandy did there.
I mean, Sandy was swinging, so you got to give him credit for that. But I mean, that's a guy who just doesn't know how to fight, so he just didn't. But
Was this
be willing? I like the willing.
Yep.
Was this game tonight the way that Detroit Red Wings fans felt last February against Ottawa? Because I just felt like Ottawa got bullied tonight. Like they were poking at the goalie, they were getting after him. Other than Brady in that scrum, like nobody really did anything. Everyone was just kind of standing there playing peacemaker. Even Travis Hamonic, who came in from like all the way, I thought he came off the bench. Turns out he didn't. But would a 10-game suspension for him be the worst thing in the world? I don't know. Just add to the penalty minutes, but like. Hamonic, all he did was grab and grapple. It's like, no, like throw some bombs if you're gonna do something. They didn't want it tonight. To use Brady's own term against him, they didn't want it. There weren't enough guys in the battle, and like Josh Norris used to have
22 guys between both teams.
dude. Josh Norris used to have like a level of like I don't care about him. Where like that fight against Romanov in his rookie season, he was unreal. He wouldn't swat a fly right now out there. Like he's the softest player on the team. And I get that it's your shoulder.
Shoulders made of glass.
If he's well enough to play, he should be well enough to play to the best of his abilities, not be like, oh, well, I'm not going to get dirty in the corners now. Oh, well, now you're not an $8 million player.
Yeah.
So unless he's giving half that money back, then maybe he should play the way that got him the money in the first place.
Well, I used to say it all the time. Josh Norris used to be one of my favorite players to watch because of the way he moved around the ice, and he did win a lot of battles in the corners. But it is what it is. Pilsy, take it away.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, Ross. You can't even though Brady is $8 million plus player, Josh Norris making right around $8 million. You can't all just be standing around hanging out while that's going on. And like Travis Hamonic, like if you're going to be brutal defensively, like he was on that Sam Bennett goal, like what an absolute turnstile he was there, at least get some physicality going and get yourself in the mix and help out the boys in that sense. Like it wasn't happening. And I don't know what this is going to do for this team moving forward, because the Ottawa Senators have that kind of culture and that core group that seems to really get along. And they mentioned it on the broadcast like 2 years ago. Yeah, this team still sucked 2 years ago, but opponents used to leave being like, man, that team sucks, but they play hard. And like, I know that's the classic, like that's such loser mentality. We are losers. So that's what we're talking about. We are complete, absolute losers. So
we're losers. Like,
yeah.
Okay, go on.
Yeah, I said it. I know how much of a loser being an Ottawa Senators fan is. But at least we were losers with pride. And it wasn't like, it was like, I feel kind of bad for them. It wasn't like, look at these goofs, like they suck and they're an embarrassment to their own team. Their fans are booing them off the ice. They gotta clap back in the media defending head coach that's one of the worst head coaches statistically in the league. Like, what a joke we are. Like, Pierre Dorion, we are a team that we thought that was hilarious. We thought that was embarrassing. We might not be a team pretty soon here. Like, that's how bad that is.
The other thing is, Pilsy, like, at least historically, the way they lost and where they were as a franchise and where the expectations were at, they were in a rebuild. So losing wasn't the worst thing in the world, you know? Now it's like, okay, the window's opening, we thought. And then now it's like, okay, where are our do we need to adjust our expectations? Do we need to as a fan base? We don't want to. So let's fix things here. And it needs to be fixed fast. Otherwise, this is just another season where we're going to be, and I mean, look at the crowd tonight. It was a good crowd. Monday night wasn't bad at all, right? Looked like they had almost a sellout by the looks of things to me. But I mean, the fans are showing up, so that's not a thing anymore, right? When Brady and these guys were playing in the last like 4 or 5 years, there weren't a lot of fans in the building, so it was kind of a less heartening thing for them to have to go in there and perform. But now it's like, it's on you guys now, boys. Like, the product's there, we think it's there, you got to win, and they're not doing it.
Very well said. That's Aleem's Martian. He's Brandon Piller. I'm Ross Levitan. We're going to say bye to our audio listeners. Tune in tomorrow on Locked On Senators. And if you are in the car, you're like, man, these guys are venting, I need to be a part of this. Head over to YouTube and go to the 38-minute mark of the video. And we've got the Postcast After Dark. This is the Locked On Senators Postcast presented by the Glebe Central Pub. Visit them in the heart of the Glebe, 779 Bank Street, and make sure you let them know that Locked On Senators sent you. All right, welcome back. Postcast After Dark. Pilsy's probably going to fill up the rum and coke, so I let him off. Look, should we have it as like empty stage? I feel like that's a good look too. It's like we're awaiting the king of the rum and cokes. But Martin, that statement you just said, like, it rings so true. It's almost like verbal meme. LeBron James at J.R. Smith when he like didn't know the clock, and it's like us pointing at Steve Stales. Like, we know what the one change you can make that will get everyone to buy in once again and be like, hey, what's the one constant we've never seen change? It's the coach. He's been here for 5 seasons now. And you're like, okay, when are we going to call a spade here? I always go back to this. Better coaches have been fired for less. Nobody has better job security in the NHL than DJ Smith.
No, and the thing is too, like, Staios and Anlauer, I'm sure they're fully aware of this, but they got to realize they're new. So their frustration they're feeling right now, they got to take that and they should multiply it by 5 or 6. You know, imagine going through that for 5 or 6 years. And then the other thing that you got to consider here too is because of all the noise, outside noise around this team with the Shane Pinto thing, and then with the Pierre Dorion, resignation / firing. It was a firing that they called a resignation. And then, they wanted to keep things quiet and stable. Well, keeping things quiet and stable makes sense when the team's performing to a level of acceptability. But right now they're not. And there's one reason why, and it's part of the old regime. I think they got to ignore they shouldn't have said that. They should be like, we're going to evaluate everything here at this point. We obviously realize there's changes that need to be made. Because
he looked like he had been up for 24 straight hours tonight. Like, Steve Staios looked tired.
Sure, I wasn't sleeping well, so I'm sure he wasn't either. So when it comes to that, like, they just got to realize, just eat your own words, boys, and just be like, you know what, we're doing it. We realize this change needs to be made. It's time to move to a new head coach. That's what they need to do.
Well, this is the Postcast After Dark. It's not about me. It's about you. It's about the Ottawa Senators. Tomorrow's my 8th day in the last 11 days working at 5 a.m. My alarm's set for 4 o'clock in the morning.
Ross.
And I willingly stay up and watch the same shit every day. And it's driving me absolutely nuts. And they just need to figure it out for my mental health.
Yeah, Ross, I feel you. Like, I was having a crap day. I was like, oh, man, at least there's a Sens game tonight. Like, I'm going to be locked and loaded for this game. It's going to be – I was about to say it's going to be awesome. I did not think it was going to be awesome. I literally said in our episode it's going to be a scheduled loss. But at least, like, Sens hockey is back. Let's go. And, like, now it is just –
Sens hockey is back.
Yeah, now I'm like, damn it, Sens hockey is back. This sucks. Like, I thought my day couldn't get any worse. And now I have to watch your Ottawa Senators play hockey. But at least we have the Postcast events, because
Boys.
if I had to stew on this like the players do, or try to explain why this, well, I guess I am trying to explain, but I don't have to try to back them up. This team stinks. It's garbage, and it's an embarrassment to watch for Sens fans.
I was this close to going and being boots on the ground to this game. And
so worst part, I took the extra money that I've been making, and what did I do? I booked a trip to Ottawa to watch the Leafs December 7th.
it's going to be a great time, Ross.
Oh,
but
it better be.
at least if they beat the Leafs, that's a fun time no matter what.
What if they don't?
Then it's horrible. It's horrible.
What if they don't, Martian?
But am I ever glad I didn't take up my buddy on making it out to this one, because I was like, I just don't have a great feeling about it. It's a Monday. I don't want to start my week like that.
Oh my God, yeah. All the Leafs fans that are gonna be at the CTC, like, if they lose that game, I mean, we're getting ahead of ourselves. We should be worried about the Columbus Blue Jackets.
And shout out to Troy. He's figured me all out. I actually just booked my trip to go to Shawarma Palace.
And the Cleveland Central Pub.
Ross is
I
the
need
only
that
guy
hat.
you'll
And I
actually
need
take.
it. Okay, you know what? I need some sort of good news, Marsh. Can you show me the helmets?
Okay, yeah, let's do that.
Maybe this is
What?
like no. We need to see the helmets.
What are we
We need
doing?
to see the helmets.
The first time we bring the helmets out in the postcast is for a 5-0 loss?
But don't you think there's something to be said about that? It's almost like we're like,
Let's
What do you say?
spin the lottery wheel, not hand out
I'm
the
down.
prop, the Sens winning prop. What
I'm
are we
down.
doing here, Ross?
Sens have the 8th best odds for the NHL draft. You want to get crazy? I'll get crazy, man.
Bringing out the win prop for a 5-0 loss is crazy. I can't. This is not how this was supposed to go. Martian, you look great, but I'm so sad that this is when we're doing this.
That is so cool.
These are
Come
awesome.
on.
They're
That is
real.
the coolest
They're,
thing ever.
the thing is, I think they're real helmets.
Oh, they are real. Yeah, the guy told us those aren't props. Like, you can, Martian,
these are
start a
huge.
fire in your kitchen and go fight it.
Hildy, there's a fire at the CTC. We need to be there and put this thing
It was
out.
a barn burner game. They should, honestly, I hope Anlauer has insurance money on the CTC. Just light it up and let's start things fresh here.
We got to get these in the hands of the boys here.
Yo, smile, Martian, just like that.
I can't. Guys, I'm sorry. This is how we're doing this. We were supposed to wait until the Ottawa Senators win a game to
They might not win again, Pills.
But now it's not. I mean, I guess we got to fight the fire that is this dumpster fire of a performance the Ottawa Senators just put out. But we are disrespecting Ottawa Fire right now.
No, we're not.
This is supposed to be for wins. You know what? I as upset as I am that we're doing this right now, this is objectively hilarious, and Martian looks so good in that firefighter costume. Not a costume. Sorry, not a costume. That firefighter helmet.
Not a costume. Yo, how good does the photo look? That's sharp, dude. That's sharp. I love it. It can't get any worse, man. Hot Lunch wants to know how much worse it can get.
It can get worse. It can get worse.
Yeah, we've actually seen it. Like, okay,
It can always get worse.
you know what? I want to go through December. Can we go through December, or is that too depressing?
I don't like doing that, but we can.
You know how in like NFL, it's like say which ones will be wins and losses. You don't like doing that?
No.
No, not when you're just like
We'll be wrong.
Columbus Blue Jackets loss. Oh my God.
Oh, sorry guys, I pressed the wrong button.
This makes more sense than the fire helmets.
Tankathon. We should have done that first.
I pressed the wrong button, guys.
No, I can't look at that. I don't even want to see these kids' names.
Somehow I took a wrong turn.
5 spins for each goal against.
One
Dude.
goal for each spin against. Okay, ready?
each spin against.
This is actually
The
electric.
good news is they're probably not going to choose to give up this year's first round pick in the situation.
That's not
Minnesota
what we
first
wanted.
overall. That's cool.
Yeah, they can have it.
Chicago.
Oh my God.
We'll never win.
Columbus, look out.
What's that, 3?
That's 3.
Oh,
God. Yeah,
That's
we are losers. We
That's
can't
worse.
even lose right.
That's worst case scenario.
that's 4. This last one.
Yeah.
Oh, second overall.
Second. We'll take second. We will take second overall.
Chicago, it's rigged.
I mean, that draft pick, watch out for the mom's trip.
Oh,
Jeez.
this is certainly after dark. You know what's brutal? It's not even December.
I mean, that rumor's got to be fake, boys.
No, it's definitely fake.
I mean, like, come on. Like, I
Don't
think.
let facts get in the way of a good story, Martian.
I mean, it would be hilarious. I mean, not hilarious. I feel bad for Connor Bedard if that was the case, and if that's true, then Perry's a scumbag. But at the same time,
Well, he was brought in to be the mentor, maybe his stepdaddy. That works.
Father.
Yeah.
Oh man, should we? Oh, you know what we always like to do here on the Postcast, and sometimes it's fun, sometimes it's kind of depressing. I feel like tonight is going to be one of the depressing ones. What is it?
Yeah.
Hockey stat card. What are those? Oh, I got it. Hockey stat card. Oh my God. Dude. You know who Ottawa's best player was tonight, according to this? And it does usually match the eye test, I will
Anton
say.
Forsberg.
No, they don't.
Oh, it matches the eye test.
No, it usually does.
Oh, but it didn't tonight.
Well, they were all garbage. So
I'm gonna say it's gonna say like Hamonic or something funny like that.
Better.
It's
Highmore?
It's McEwen.
No, Parker Kelly, best senator on the ice.
Oh, where's our guy?
Didn't even
Lunch.
notice him.
Yeah, Hot Lunch is here. He's on the
This
ball,
is his
dude.
Stanley Cup. There you go.
There you go.
He's on the ball.
Congrats, Hot Lunch.
He is
This one's
on
for
the
you.
ball. That is so unreal. Oh man. Tim Stützle was the 3rd best player, and Zach McEwen was the 4th best player on the team today, according to this. JP threw that one hit.
Jake Sanderson had a good game, so that kind of does make sense.
Jacob Chikrin has been playing awful.
What was it? The 3rd or 4th goal? When he lost his man, it kind of like it wasn't all his fault because he kind of got caught in no man's land there. He had to kind of put pressure on the puck carrier as he came out of the corner, and then it was Kubalik, I think, who was the left winger on that one, and he should have taken over his man. But Chikrin, you're right. He was just lost. He was in the worst place he can be. He didn't bat down the pass, and then it's just in the back of the net so fast. It's not even funny.
The only time I noticed Jacob Chikrin was in the intermission when they talked about how he played for the Florida team and they won a hockey tournament 20 years ago in Ottawa.
Yeah.
Shout out Claire Hanna for that story. That was a good way to kind of go from, hey, we always talk about, sorry, not Claire Hanna. Kyle Bukauskas, friend of the show.
Our guy.
Kyle was like, yeah,
I think alum.
He might have seen the tweet where we've been chirping the whole narrative around the Tkachuks. And so he's like, that we have to mention this, but another cool connection. And he went right into the Chikrin one. It's like, all right, that's why you're the best in the biz for sure. Go ahead.
No, he's the best, Kyle.
What's the scouting report? Because you had him out for your men's league. What's his hockey game like?
Yeah, he played hockey. He played hockey in my for my beer league team. It was great. He was great. He scored a goal and he had an assist. So he played really well. He's a big body. He's bigger than I think a lot of people realize. He's like probably 6'1", 6'2", possibly. And he's in good shape. So he was zipping around out there. He's making good plays. Smart hockey player. Yeah, I really liked. He was a great addition to the team.
Probably 6'5" with the hair, the helmet. You lose 3 inches.
Yeah, well, that was the disappointment from my team, right? Is that they all wanted to see the hair in person, but he was wearing a hat when he showed up, and he had his helmet on during the game. So,
but he doesn't just have that hair for anyone. He's got to get paid for those appearances.
Yeah, apparently not. He needs his people. But he was doing a game before our game, which was hilarious because we were watching him on TV, and then he came out. And it was
That's awesome. I want to wrap up today's show. We are the show for fans, by fans. I want to get to some of the people who are nice enough to leave a little tip in the jar. Really do appreciate that. Sens fan in van, always in the mix. We appreciate you as a citizen. Where is the Andlauer accountability with DJ? The team has terrible defensive structure, but they say DJ gets the guys going. Clearly not. Get firing done sooner rather than later. I mean, DJ said tonight he couldn't get the guys going. So tonight to me was a very, very dark place for the way the Senators have. At least they've been losing with energy in the past. And if that makes sense, like they've at least given fights. Tonight, there was no fight. There was literal fights, but it was almost performative theater. It didn't really feel like they were fighting because they thought they had a chance to win. They were fighting because I think they felt it would take the narrative and the heat off of how bad they played. It's like, oh, look, fight. Look, fight. You know, we are simple people. And I did think that. But then I also thought, wait, I felt this 100 times in the last 2 years.
Ross, they weren't fighting. They were rage quitting. You know when you beat your little brother 12-0 on Chell and he's like, screw this. I'm not going to score a goal. I'm just going to throw this controller through the TV screen. That's what the Ottawa Senators do. And then your parents come down and are like, what the hell happened down here? The Tkachuk parents didn't even stick around to see what happened. They're like, we're going home. We're getting out of this parking lot before it's nuts. And we are not watching the rest of this game. Our two sons are stars in the NHL, and we don't even want to watch.
I think they just went up into the bar in their box and just said, screw it. Let's just have a couple, wait for the boys to get out, drive back to their place. And let's not worry about what's going on the ice because it's an absolute shit show.
Yeah, as far as Sens fans in van question goes, I think this all comes down to what Martian talked about. It's about getting a GM in here so the GM can pick their guy. Because if the Sens fire DJ and hire someone, even if it's someone prestigious, like just to bring an NHL head coach in these days, no coach is signing a deal for less than 2 years. Like you have to give them term. That's the only way you'll get a guy in, unless it's a new rookie coach and that they're just excited for the opportunity. But no one's going to want to be a lame duck head coach. So you're not going to bring in a new head coach until you have a new GM that feels like they've picked their guy. So I think they're just going to be stuck like this. And Steve Stais said he wants to keep things calm. He wants to keep things steady. So I think he might just ride out this year. And it's like pancakes, new ownership. You just burn the first year and throw it out, and then you move on from there.
Well, I think Steve Stais certainly knows he has job security, right? He didn't build this thing. So there is that standpoint. Appreciate you, Sens fans in van. Martian, you got anything to add to this one? We got one more to move on to.
Yeah, I mean, no, I don't. I don't have any. I've said it all.
Well, we've got two, actually, because Cam, this is just a statement. I want to get to it. Imagine telling a 2018-19 Sens fan that one day we would have both Tarasenko and Giroux and still not be able to do anything but dump and chase and not show up when it matters. Yeah, I remember the days where Max Verono was in the top 6 for a game here, game there. Ben Sexton was getting a call up for his first NHL game at 30 years old. Cody Golubeff was plucked off the Olympic team when there were no NHLers. He was put right in the mixer. Yeah, we lived through that. Nate Thompson on the team, like we lived through these dark days.
Do ya?
Number 10, Tom Pyatt.
Well, at least he was on the team when they made the conference final. At least he had a bit of oomph to him.
True.
Like Chris
Would
DiDomenico.
you rather have Tom Pyatt or Rourke Chartier? I know my answer.
Tom Pyatt.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Nick Dunn asks, what did you make of the game devolving into scraps? Do you prefer losing while swinging or just winding it down? Is McEwen's time up in Ottawa? Martian?
Let me take this one because this is my area of expertise. I prefer it. I prefer them going down swinging, absolutely, than going down with their tails tucked between their legs like a bunch of babies. At least show them that, you know, they're not going to get out of this one easy. They're going to go home with some nicks and bruises. So for me, I that's an easy answer. I'm definitely saying if it's going to get out of hand and they're going to be bastards about it like that, the way, you know, Tkachuk was running around at there, Matthew, I'm saying, and then some of the other action that was going on behind the scenes, I think you got to go down with a little bit of oomph. So you got to throw down. Like at that point, let them feel you at least when they go home.
No, I'm with you, Martian. I would rather you go down swinging, but again, this wasn't us swinging and fighting back. This was a rage quit, and at home, down 5-0, with your big brother getting the last laugh on you, kind of sad.
Oh, he's got to be pissed.
Kind of sad.
He should be pissed. He hasn't even played that well. Like,
he played good tonight before all this stuff started going on. Even he, like, at the end of the second period, he was the only guy going. Like, he was like, "Come on, let's go, boys!" Like, He tried to do it the right way, and then when he realized nobody else was going to help him, he was just like, "Screw it, let's just go crazy here." Crash the net, cause some stuff, try to fight 3 guys at once, get past the ref, fight another 2 guys. Like, he was just punching everybody in sight, and I kind of loved it. And Mathal was saying it like, I don't know, it was entertaining at least. At least the fans didn't go home saying, I just watched the most boring hockey game of all time. It was a shitty hockey game, but it wasn't the most boring hockey game. You can give credit to the fights for that.
Yeah, there certainly was. I asked in the chat, I said, give me some names from the rebuild just to make us feel better. Oscar Lindbergh coming over in the Stone trade is a great callback from Troy. He writes in, Jordy's got Ole Alsing.
My favorite one, Michael Bodker.
Michael Bodker's a good one.
No.
Christopher Khalil has Braden Coburn in there. G-Man throws in Marion Gaborik.
Ian Cole, but he's been still in the league, which is crazy.
Dude, how about Christopher throwing in Christian Yarosh, Kieran adding Max McCormick. Derek Stepan was all-time awful.
My guy.
We got Erica Branson, Derek Stepan again. We got Brian Gibbons, Troy. That's tough. Darren Archibald, we loved him in Belleville, Pillsy. Did he get an NHL game?
I was a big Darren Archibald guy. He did get an NHL game. Now we're just at the point of After Dark where we're like, we suck so bad. Let's laugh at times we thought we sucked more, but maybe we weren't as bad as we are now.
Yeah,
that's where we're at.
This reminds me of a meme I saw where it was like you come home from hanging out with your buddies and your wife is asking you like, how are the guys? Like, what are they up to? And it's just like, actually, we just sat around for 2 hours and named old hockey players.
Oh, this is a great one. Cedric Paquette.
Oh, frig, that's a good one. Yeah, for sure.
Jace Howerluck. Stephen Elliott's a good one.
Oh, Jace Howerluck. You loved him, Pillsy.
Yeah, I like misfits like that for a short amount of time.
I mean, this was pretty recent, but Dylan Gambrell. I mean, we could use him right now, actually.
Yeah, we could, but we're talking like Artem Anisimov, Jordan Swartz, another one. Belleville Sens captain. Well, now we got guys just naming old Sens like Guillaume Latendresse. I like that. Is that Matthew Joseph? You on your phone? No, he'd be on Instagram. Sid writing in Eric Bergdorfer. That's another
B-Sens captain.
Freddie Clayson? Was that before or after they sucked?
Freddie Clayson? No, they sucked.
Peter O'Neill's got one for you, Marshy.
Get out of here with that one.
Hey, he's still just scratching the surface. Give the guy 7 years, and he's
actually on a better team right now, so he's fine.
Honestly.
Vitaly Abramov, Christopher's all-time. Christopher's looking through the 2018-19 Sens roster right now.
I was thinking about Abramov the other day, Ross. Like, remember how sick that guy was in Belleville? How many Making Sense of the Sens episodes did we title? I gotta butcher this. Abracadabramov, and we were like, this guy's gonna come in. He's gonna be a third-line winger. Look out! No comment.
No comment.
They could use a speedy third liner with a bit of grit. He'd be punching guys out there tonight. All right. Any final thoughts? Any final thoughts here, Pillsy? Like, where are we at?
Final thoughts from me.
That was fun. That was a good. What do we call it? Venting session.
Oh, what about Nikita Zaitsev? We didn't mention him.
Buddy, he's a +3 this year.
Yeah, but he's only played like 5 games probably.
That's even more impressive.
We are now at a point where there's cycles to being a Sens fan. You start the off season, ultimate optimism, vibes are high, you're looking at the roster, you're thinking good things. Then the season starts. Bad start. and then string together a couple wins at home. Ross, it would be embarrassing for us to go back and watch the episodes we did at your parents' place because we thought this team was absolutely on fire in a good way. And
Dude, I tweeted out during the Washington game. No, I'm just gonna get the tweet. You keep going.
And then the season keeps going along and you're flirting with 500, and then November hits. And then we're all like, okay, we are ready to be hurt again. And we are hurt so badly. And then we're kicked when we're down. And we're still going. Then we go over to Sweden. You get a couple wins and you say, okay, that's nice, but how's it going to happen when we come back from Sweden? And you can't beat a team with 4 defensemen that can't score goals. They put a 5-burger on you. And then you go up against your captain's big brother with the family in the house. And you lose 5-0 in the most embarrassing game where everybody's just getting kicked out of the game left, right, and center. And now we're at a point where we don't, like, other teams don't feel bad for us. Other teams are laughing with us while we are laughing at us. They're laughing with us, laughing at us. And this team is so bad and so embarrassing. It's not sad. It's not disappointing. It is goddamn hilarious because this team, this franchise is finding new ways to be the butt end of a joke of the NHL. And they just sold for the highest sale of any NHL team ever. And they're still the laughing stock of the league. Like, it is just, look, doing a daily Senators podcast is taxing on my mental health, but at least we know it's never going to be a dull moment. And there's always going to be something to dive into. And there's always a bunch of absolute beauties in the postcast. 462 of you still here an hour after a 5-0 loss. Sens fans are the best. The Sens community is the best. But this franchise is an absolute joke. Cheers.
Billsy, you want to read off that tweet from 7:36 Eastern, the night that the Washington Capitals were getting dismantled by the Sens? Josh Norris came back. I think he had 2 goals in that game.
The Locked On Senators at Sen Central, 6:36 p.m., October 18th, 2023. The Ottawa Senators are about to be a problem for the entire NHL. Yeah, a problem as in having draft picks taken away from a trade years ago.
Yeah, you weren't wrong.
I'm calling out. Oh,
I like how you had to bring me into that, with my comment afterwards, where I said there's just way too much talent, and I still think there's a lot of talent. There's nothing happening.
Oh, I must have muted everyone else. Oh no, maybe the others were just regular reposts. Yeah, there were. Only one person has dunked on this tweet. This tweet is right. We got 8 bookmarks. People will be dunking on this down the road.
Oh yeah, I mean, fair enough. I can't wait to see all the people looking back on my hot take saying the Sens could win the Stanley Cup. Oh my god.
Phils, you got any Sen Central standouts presented by the Glebe Central Pub? Glebe Central Pub, visit them in the heart of the Glebe, 779 Bank Street, and go check out the Sen Shuttle Bus, $17 round trip to and from the CTC.
Have a drink while you're there. Sheesh.
Shout out to Peter O'Neill. Appreciate the tip, brother. Bang. Great guy.
Thank you, Peter. Yeah, I mean, I did like how Brady handled all of this, and I feel like it's unfair for him to have to go through little brother syndrome, even when he's a captain in the NHL and he's playing at home. But I thought at least he did what he could, and it was a classic Brady Tkachuk game. Looking at it, I think 3 hits, 7 shots, and then you tag on 16 PIMs just for good measure. So I don't have a problem with how Brady played tonight. It's not it's not who's a standout, Ross. It's who didn't we have a problem with. Brady.
We got 463 standouts as far as I'm concerned, plus the 3 of us. I'll give ourselves a little pat on the back. Martian gets a standout for his spectacular display of fire helmet modeling, and Pillsy, you get a display. You get a Sen Central standout for being the poster boy for Kraken rum.
And my intermission content was pretty good today, boys. I don't know if you caught that, but I did a live space on Twitter, and we had a lot of people in there listening, and I was taking calls. So every person who was on there could request to speak, and I would just let them vent because I knew where they were
Yeah.
going to go. And so it was just really funny and fun, and a lot of characters in there. So if you're looking for that, intermission content could be coming here. I think I'm going to do that a lot more.
Well, you picked a good day. You picked a good day to start it.
The only thing I'm disappointed about, Martian, with your spaces is you didn't do a Martian outer spaces play on words for the title. That would be my only comment. Yeah,
Martian in space.
Right. Someone said Martian. Someone had a good pun that I saw. I might go with that. I'm gonna have to hunt that down.
Okay, I want to see that next time.
Yeah, someone had a good one. It was like I don't know. It was the Collins or something. I don't remember what he said. I don't remember. But anyways, Jake Sanderson was my standout. I know we didn't get to those. He had a fight. He was skating the puck like a madman.
That wasn't his first NHL fight, though, was it?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
it was. Okay.
Pretty funny that his first NHL fight was against his captain's brother.
Yeah,
and I'm sure Brady loved that too. He's like, hell yeah, good for you.
Although I don't know,
he might have told him to do it. He said, just go and just challenge him.
Yeah, that's the thing. Brady was probably look. He literally said he's going to come after you. It's better if you just deal with it head on. So maybe that's what he said.
He gave him some tips. He goes like, attack him from the left side. It won't like that,
dude. Yeah. I like the hair flip after though. He was ready.
Did you guys notice after Sanderson looking at his hand? That got me real nervous because I forget which hand it was, Ross, but remember the summer of Jake Sanderson's hand where the cast, it was like almost Looney Tunes.
Paper mache.
Yeah, it was paper mache. It was almost Looney Tunes style.
He was just fixing his wrist guard there.
Okay.
So that's what he was doing.
That
but
got me nervous.
Intermartian.
Ooh, I like that. Okay, I like that.
I saw early. Somebody just mentioned that.
Kara did.
Yeah, Kara. Nice.
Hell yeah, absolutely.
Intermartian Collins. Yeah, we'll do that.
No, we like that for sure. And Pillsy, another double on you. My alarm's set for 5 hours from now. So we're going to have Locked On Senators for you a little later on in the afternoon. We'll record that around.
Sounds like another double for me then. Sheesh.
I'd say so. Get the sleep in. And Sens fans, at least we're in it together, right? Hey,
yeah,
as far
we
as
are a community. We may not be a team anymore, but we are a community. Misery loves company.
And hey, let's call a spade. Right now, we're drafting second overall, according to the latest Locked On Senators Tankathon spin.
Well, and hopefully, Ross, I mean, the Chicago Blackhawks, like, if the Sens are losing draft picks for what happened here, the Chicago Blackhawks are due to lose a first-round pick, so maybe that bumps up a little.
Oh, my goodness. Perfect way to go right at 4:20, Pills. I know you and I have something to do before bed. Shout out to everyone who's in the chat. Martian, we always appreciate you, brother. Everyone go give Martian a follow if you're not already, which most of you already are, on Twitter at Laleem's Martian. The Twitch, where's that? Where's the Twitch been?
I've been busy. I've been very busy with my everyday life. So I haven't found the time to play a lot of video games, but they'll be back.
Martian, I'll throw you a bone and I'll join your Twitch and you can destroy me and Shell.
Okay, I think people would love that. You be the Sens and I'll be the Panthers.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. No, I'm looking forward to it. Maybe the Sens are just waiting for us to get our helmets to really go into full gear. So that'll be happening sooner rather than later. And Jay Munchin, we appreciate all 400 plus of you guys too. Really can't thank everybody enough. Like this team stinks right now. But there is hope. Bad. No, like they are.
Is there hope?
The Sens lose 5-0. They get outshot 38-20. They give up 4 goals on the power play. They go 0 for 6 on their own power play. They get 38% of the shot share. They get 84 penalty minutes in the game. It was unraveled madness tonight for the Ottawa Senators in the third period after just falling and failing time and time again. So 5-0 loss tonight. We'll have more on this tomorrow and the rest of the week on Locked On Senators. I'm going to be blowing up Mark Mathott's phone because we need to get his takes on this. How bad has it ever gotten for him in an NHL kind of atmosphere? I need to know. And they're playing the team that drafted him on Friday. So we got to get Meth on.
Let's go.
Ahead of the Columbus. Imagine he shows up wearing a Blue Jackets jersey. I feel like he's the kind of guy who would do that. So, hey, stay tuned for all that. For today, though, we say goodbye. For Brandon Piller and Laleem's Martian, let's get some Go Sens goes in the chat. We need them. Anything to get us through this together. Brandon Piller, Martian, I'm Ross. This has been the Locked On Senators Postcast presented by the Glebe Central Pub. You can go visit the Glebe Central Pub right in the heart of the Glebe. Go visit them for tasty food, great drinks, and the Send Shuttle to and from the CTC for $17 round trip. Go find them, 779 Bank Street, and let them know that Locked On Senators sent you. We're a part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.